Racing at Hollywoodbets Scottsville on Wednesday. It is our final race meeting here in KZN for the 2024-2025 racing season before things start afresh on Friday. That will be the 1st of August. 8 races on the program on Wednesday. Race number 1 set to get underway at 12:30. Maiden Plate, fillies and mares, 1200 meters is the distance. It is the start of the bipod as well. Working alongside Warren Lenferner for this preview show. And the first race on the card, number 8, Gorgeous Cape, tops the boards here at 5-2, 3-1 on offer. About number 9, What a Passion from the Gallop Preview Show yard. Number 5, A Spin My Angel Spin, 33-10. Number 7, Ebisu, 6-1 into 4-1, and then it is 7-1 and Better Ball. Those now, there's a filly in this race here, Warren, that I think is some value. Number 3, Water Hyacinth at 7-1 in the market from the Michael Miller yard. If the guys want to have a look at this filly going down to the start, she'll give you absolutely no confidence. She doesn't seem to be the fluent mover down to the gates, but she certainly has come back in good nick at her last 3 outings. I think she's a filly that has good form lines to her name. We saw Infinity Edge on a cracker in the debutante over the weekend, not disgraced, back in that 4th position. Hierarchy was 2nd in that race, so I think she's found the right type of opening here, and at 7-1, I think she's some nice value.
Yeah, well, she did run 4th 5 lengths to Hierarchy in her penultimate start, and of course another horse in the race, What a Passion, ran 8th, so there's some form to work with there. Even Fascination, that ran 5th in the same race. But yes, you've made a case for Water Hyacinth, and she certainly could run well. She's out of that good mare Admiral's Eye. Every run she's had has been at the course, so absolutely her last one was good. She came from off the pace. She was bumped at a crucial stage of the race, twice in fact. So Water Hyacinth certainly can run well for at the price. But I think it's competitive. You mentioned that Gorgeous Cape was the 5-2 early favourite. Hawam filly out of Hannah Gorgeous. I'm not surprised that the bookmakers have priced her up favourite, because Dean Caname has been sending out, as we say in racing, some bombs, and they've been winning first time out. And he's obviously got a good strong string of 2-year-olds. Well, he's got a good strong string of horses, full stop. So Gorgeous Cape could be anything. We'll know more about her when we get to the races. Ebisu, we interviewed, chatted to Chad Little during the week, and he was quite upbeat of a huge performance from Ebisu, a hugely improved performance. And then What a Passion, could the form of What a Passion not be too strong, Raheel? I know that Water Hyacinth beat her on that Hierarchy run, but then What a Passion came and ran 2nd to Princess of Gaul, and we all know what Princess of Gaul did just the other day.
Yeah, I think 9.5 lengths, when you're running that far back, something's got to run 2nd that day. So I think she's got a chance, but I wouldn't say that she's a horse that you can go all in with a 3-1 in the market. I think there's, of the Garrett Van Zyl horses, I far prefer number 5, Spin My Angel Spin. I think the Cape form lines that she brings to the table, I think could certainly see her running a nice race. When you have a look at her recent outings, last time out, 15 out of 15 draw, no luck in running, but that form line has worked out very nicely, and that run at Hollywoodbets Durbanville on debut will certainly keep you interested when finishing in 6th position. She came from an 8 draw that day, was dropped out and allowed to do her best work at the finish. If she's a filly that's fit and ready to go after that layoff, I think she could be a very, very competitive runner here. Sean Veal takes the ride for Hollywood Racing, who'll be looking to end off their season on a high after securing that owner's title for the season, and I think that this filly will run a nice race. So yeah, I think 3, 5, and then the 7 horse I'm going to keep on the safe side, just because there was a bit of support on debut, and Chad Little mentioned that he expected more from the filly on debut, and she didn't really put it all in. So I think those 3 horses is other 3 horses that I'm going to be playing around in leg number 1 of the bipod, Warren.
Okay, so 3, 5 and 7 for you, and there's of course others to talk about that have placed chances. Back end of quartets, De Vlugge from the Gary Ritz stable returns from arrest. Fascination. So there's a few in with back end of quartet chances, but you've heard from Raheel, 3, 5 and 7 for him. We're a little different in the first race. I'm going to be playing some boxed exactas, 7, 8 and 9. So I think it's quite a tricky race to get the meeting underway, but those are our numbers. Race 1, we're going to move along to race 2. The second race on the card is the Bet with Tote B Stakes over 1,000 metres. 1:05 is the off time, and it is the first leg of the place accumulator. At the time of recording, 6 runners will face the starter: Mojo Man, Jet Legacy, Major Tommy, Kalahari Roller, Boom Shakalaka, and Lady of Vix. As we tell you time and time again, the show is recorded 24 hours before race time, and we urge you to check final scratchings, jockey changes, betting moves before taking your final bets. Raheel, 6 of the runners. One of them is the biggest outsider, Boom Shakalaka, at 33 to 1, so that tells you a bit of a story. The rest, I suppose, you could make a bit of a case for. But I want to start the discussion with Lady of Vix, because Tony Riverland's made no secret that she's quite a speedy filly. She comes into the race with 49 kilograms, and she really won well last time. I think she can go back to back, this filly.
Yeah, she's quite interesting in this race, Warren, because she's only got 49 kgs on the back. She's going to feel like she's loose. She's a filly that has got exceptional gate speed. And last time out, she just ran them off their feet to be beating Rafa's Boy. She was only given a 2-point penalty for that success. She's against the boys once again. It is a step up in class, but she's got no weight to shoulder, so that's got to be a huge advantage. She's clearly in a good space. Last time out, when she did win, she caught us out by surprise, winning at double-figure odds, considering her last 2 efforts before that win. But if she's in the same heart, then she's a horse that will certainly run well. This horse, Major Tommy, last time out he had 64 on the back. He gets a 4 kg apprentice, which will certainly assist his chances. I think he's quite a nice horse from the Galt Puller yard, and I would not be surprised if he were to turn the form around with the Lady of Vix. He does come into the race slightly better off at the weights, which could just narrow things down between himself and the 3-year-old daughter of Vercingetrix. He's 2 kgs, in fact a kg better off at the weight, so could make things a bit closer. I think he's got to go into the play. And then this horse, Jet Legacy, it's interesting that the 3 horses that come from that form line all get 4 kg claiming apprentices this time around, numbers 2, 3 and 6 from that form line behind Lady of Vix. So Jet Legacy will obviously keep you interested. And then Mojo Man, who's taken a step down in class, his rating has also dropped quite nicely. Haven't seen this apprentice before. I think it could be his first ride. On a mark of 89 with a 4 off the back. If all goes well for the son of Rafif, then he's a horse that I think could have a say in the outcome of a far preferred trip. And that run to 21 May, I think that was in a far stronger race than what he does meet here. So Mojo Man's a horse that I'll keep on the safe side as well. And Boom Shakalaka, the horse that I think will certainly battle to win here. And then Kalahari Roller, how can you ignore his chances? So I think it's a very tricky race in terms of the place accumulator. I think 3 and 6 set the standard, but I wouldn't be surprised if a horse like Kalahari Roller were to come through and win.
Okay, so the first race, the numbers weren't similar, but the second race, they certainly are. Raheel, 3 by 6. I'm going 6 by 3. And Raheel has healthy respect for Kalahari Roller, and why not, and others. But that is race 2, the first leg of the place accumulator. Surely, in a 6-horse field, 3 and 6 will be good enough for the place accumulator.
Yeah, I think place accumulators and bypass Warren, they should be good enough.
Yeah, I'm safe to say that we're going in Major Tommy and Lady of Vix. If they both don't run in the first 3, well then I'm happy to go out.
On to race number 3 we go. This will be the start of the pick 6. It is a racecourse middle stakes, fillies and mares. 1100 meters is the distance. 1340 is the off time. Scratched is number 6, Blue Holly. It's a field of 6 runners that remain. Number 3, So Hot, So What, tops the boards here at 11 to 10. 28 to 10, Miss Ladiatrix. It is 33 to 10, Convocation. 6 to 1, about number 2, Captain's Christie. 8 to 1, Russian Doll. And then Ride On, the only horse, at 12 to 1 in the market. Race number 3, and So Hot, So What. She's a filly that ran in the Tibishina last time out. Not particularly disgraced. She went off as the top one at 7 to 2 in the market, taking a significant step up in class. She was beaten under 2 lengths that day. Had excuses. Jockey reported blow-in. Vet reported that she was short as well. She did receive a 7-point penalty for running 8th. She ran closer to last than she did to first, and she's got a 7-point penalty. But I think that's what you got to deal with when you going into those feature races with horses that don't particularly have the right racing, but perhaps a 101 could be closer to a realistic mark for this filly. We'll see how she handles that penalty. But Warren, this filly, Miss Ladiatrix, she ran fourth to this So Hot So What, and she finds herself very healthy, or very nicely treated, I should say, at the weights. 6 kg pull. Last time out, I think ignore that run on the poly track. I think she's a far better horse down the lane. Gavin takes her right for Yogus Governor. I think she's the right horse in the race.
You know, this filly was good to us. I think we worked at Hollywoodbets Scottsville 4 starts ago, might have been D's, but nevertheless, she was good to us at odds of 25 to 1, Miss Ladiatrix. She's a good filly. She's got ability. Gavin Loreen is a form study. I'm not saying that, that's the 6 kg pull, which you mentioned, which is huge, is the reason why Gavin's taken the ride on Miss Ladiatrix over So Hot So What. I'm not by any stand. I'm just presuming. Maybe it's not at all. Maybe he didn't get the ride on So Hot. So could be. He's a form studier, because that 6 kg swing is big. And as you say, she's been ramped up to 101. Is she 101 So Hot So What? I don't know. I know she's very good. She's got ability. But at this point in time, if she's 101, I don't know. She makes her course debut, So Hot So What. What I am happy is the drop from 1400 back down to a sprint. I like So Hot So What, and I like her a lot. But I'm in your camp. I think Miss Ladiatrix, she was good to me, and I'm going to go with her again. I think that 6 kg pull, as you say, will be too strong. A horse like Convocation, I think she's got a big chance. She loves this course. She was 6 lengths off Mia Moo. I know Mia Moo fluffed her lines the other day in the Mercury, but 5 lengths or 6 lengths off Mia Moo's, despite the fact she ran last, she got fairly close. And her form since then has been good. She was 5th to Hot Pearl, 2nd to That's My Baby. Her overall form, Convocation, no matter which run you look at, she's consistent. And when chatting to Gareth Van Zyl during the week, he gave this filly a chance, and why not? I mean, she's ultra consistent, and she's got to be a runner. But I think 4, 3, 1, 2. Those are my numbers.
Yeah, I'm going to go 4-1 as my top 2 choices here. I think Convocation will be suited to the 1100 meter trip. I think 1000 is just on the sharp side for it. 1200 is ideal, but I think 1100 could just be that type of sweet spot for this daughter of Flying the Flag. She's a 6-time winner. I think she'll be competitive here. And then number 3, So Hot So What. She's got to concede chunks of weight to the rest of the opposition. She's a filly that certainly got the ability, but let's see if she handles that 7-point penalty, which you got for finishing 8th last time out. 4, 3, 1, 2 for Warren. I'm going to go 4-1 as the 2 selections here. But in the place accumulator, I'm going to be happy to take my chances and bank at number 4, Miss Ladiatrix.
Race number 4 on the card is the Gallop Form Maiden Plate for fillies and mares over 1600 metres. And it is the first leg of Jackpot 1. And 2:15 is the off time. There are no scratchings or jockey changes at the time of recording. Raheel, when going through the race, there are quite a few that are at long prices and are hard to make a case for, and there's a few that can win. Well, I'd like to narrow it down and start the conversation with the 2 that I think can fight it out: 9 Promise of Fire and 10 Echo. Promise of Fire, they've changed the headgear, no more blinkers. They've tried cheek pieces, and chatting to the conditioner of Promise of Fire during the week, and they're happy with that change, and it seems to be working. And it just looks to be the right race for this filly. I know she's been disappointing in her last 2 starts. Duncan did mention that she's been disappointing in her last 2 starts. Polly last time, a couple of runs ago, she was close up second to Shesha and Tombi. Maybe not the greatest form line, but in this type of field, it does to me look the right race for Promise of Fire to run a huge race. Huge respect for Echo. I mean, Echo was second in the race that was won by Street Talk, where Promise of Fire was 5th. Echo was well beaten last time. That was on the poly. This young apprentice, Design Low, takes 4 kgs off her back. So I think the 2 of them are going to fight it out. If I was forced into a corner, probably 9 Promise of Fire.
Yeah, Warren, it's a shallow contest. This race is not going to take a lot of winning. It's a field where you've got horses that are in their places. What you see is what you get. I'm not convinced this form line is going to hold up in time to come as well. And as I mentioned, not going to take a lot of winning. The one issue I've got with number 9, Promise of Fire, is the distance. I think she's far better over shorter. When you have a look at her runs past 1400 meters, she's had 3 goes. She's finished 12 lengths off them, 7 lengths off them, and then last time out, she was beaten under 4 lengths on the poly track over 1600 meters. So I'm not convinced the distance suits her. Her best run to date, in fact, her best runs have been over 1400 meters when 6.5 lengths to Gurkha, 2 lengths to Street Talk, and then, as you touched on, that run to Shesha and Tombi when close up in second position. If the cheek pieces have the desired effect and this filly can put her best foot forward over this distance, well, then I certainly believe that she can be a factor here. But the horse that I like in the race is the 2-year-old filly. I think she's just got more improvement to come than anything else in this field. She's been coming along the right way with racing. She's going over a distance that suits her a lot better. The yard stepped out over 1200, no show, slow, race green. Big improvement at a second start when in 5th position behind Charge It, and then further improvement last time out behind Opera Fan in a race that looked to have form runners, and Opera Fan did get the better of the Glenn Cotson inmate. The name escapes me at this point in time, but I thought that was a fair run. She's improved 5 lengths from her second run to her third run. I expect further improvement from run 3 to run 4, and she's a filly that I think is nicely placed here in this contest by the Michael Malayaal. So at 4-1, she's going to be my top choice. This filly number 4, Skipper O'Malley, she cracks a draw. She's second after rest. Cheek pieces go on. I expect further improvement. I'm not so sold on that Snooveki form line. Snooveki was a long price winner, I think winning at odds of around 80-1 when beating that odds-on favourite from the Glen Cotton yard, who ran second that day. But yeah, she's a filly that comes from that Street Talk form line, which is represented by Promise of Fire and Echo. So there shouldn't be too much to choose between those 3 horses. And then when you look at the balance, nothing is going to give you any sort of confidence. So I'm going to take a stance and say number 5, Harper. This is the right race for 4-1 in the market. I think a fair price, and I think that she could turn out to be the right horse here. But 4, 9, and 10 horses that could have a say in the outcome. Not a race that I'm going to be getting heavily involved in.
So numbers for Raheel Radhakrishna: 5 Harper, by 4 Skipper O'Malley, 9 Promise of Fire, 10 Echo, maybe not in that particular order, but 5, 4, 9 and 10. I'm in the camp of 9 and 10. I've got 5 and Harper for third. The only thing that really, like you've got a question mark with Promise of Fire for the distance. She's just been making a hash of the start. Every time she's been to the races, slow out, slow out, slow out. And I just hope that she improves on that, because when she behaves at the gates and she gets a perfectly timed, clean break, well, then she'll win. And it could well be on Wednesday or today, depending when you're watching this show. So numbers: 5, 4, 9, 10 Raheel, 9, 10, 5 for me.
Race number 5, this is a class 4 over 1600 meters. It is a start of Jackpot 2, 14.50 is the off time, and it is a very, very competitive class 4. Number 3, Gurkha, is your favorite, 5-2. 3-1 on offer about number 4, French Trip, and then you can get 8-1 and better about the balance. Now, having a look at this race, I'm just going to touch on 2 horses that I think could be a bit of value in this contest. Number 7, My Boy Lollipop, trading at 14-1 in the market. If you look at his run 3 starts back, this horse has clearly been hit and miss. But if you have a look at his run 3 starts back, when going over the exact same course and distance, he was a winner at 16-1 in the market, beating Terminator. He simply does not act on the poly track. It's clear to see when you have a look at his 4 runs to date. 4 runs on the poly track, 4 awful performances. He does not like the surface, it seems. He's back on the turf, and he's back at a track which he thrives at. Hollywoodbets Scottsville. He's worn down the lane, and he's worn around the turn. He jumps from gate 7. Callan Murray takes ride. I just feel he could be a bit of value in this contest at 14-1. And then number 9, Global Movement, whose last run needs to be ignored. He's a far better horse on the turf. He's extremely well weighted with a 1.5 kgs off the back, and he's been reduced a further point in the rating by the handicappers. 52.5. He hasn't carried 52.5 in ages. I think the last time he carried close to that was when he had a 4 kg Appia board, and that was sometime last year. So he's a horse that I think could certainly be competitive, especially over the 1600 meter trip. If the speed is on, and if he's allowed to settle in the running, drop his head, he can finish off his race quite nicely, Warren. But I think it is a trappy race, and I think we could be in for a bit of an upset here.
Yeah, tricky race indeed, and funnily enough, well, that's why we do the shows together, various partners for various shows. But I didn't really give my boy Lollipop too much attention, but now that you've alluded to these points, I'm certainly going to add him in and factor him into my play. My boy Lollipop for Sid Moodley, Frank Robinson and Callan Murray, who's certainly riding up a storm. Difficult race. We could run it 6 times over. We'll get 6 different results. The Gliding Fish, the last 2 runs were on the poly. Comes back onto the turf, kicked on nicely he was the fastest finishing on that occasion when running 5th to Lucky Dollar. So the Gliding Fish is more than capable. Nice to see him back in better form. Run for Cover, there were a few whispers about Run for Cover last time. The equipment broke and pulled out of the race. But before that, we're showing some signs of life. Gavin Lorena, interesting jockey engagement, but they do have an awkward draw to deal with. French Trip, Gurkha beat Papa C. French Trip ran 3rd to Lock and Key. Duncan will know who's better. I know they weren't in the same race, but I'm just saying, Papa C and French Trip, he'll have an idea, and I agree with you. In fact, I'd like to say yes, French Trip is far better than Papa C. So French Trip's a massive runner. Gurkha's got the form, in winning form. The Global Movement you've touched on, as you say, you ignore that last run on the poly. His 2 runs before that were good, 4.5 to Rosh Kadesh, 2 lengths to Serpentine Fire. Those are fair horses, and those form lines are sparked up a bit. So it's difficult. But before we wrap up, we've got to give numbers, we've got to give something. My numbers, I'm in the camp of French Trip. I've gone 4 French Trip from 3 Gurkha. Not confident. Could be 3 Gurkha from 4 French Trip, but 4 from 3, and then numbers 8, 9, 10, and 7 for the minor money.
Yeah, I just want to touch on one more horse. Number 1, World of Our Own. I'm a big fan of him as a racehorse. I think he'll have a fair future. I think he's going to win more than twice in his career. From gate number 1, I've just been a bit disappointed with these last 2 starts. I've expected a lot more in the yard. I have certainly expected a lot more as well. So they've given him about 2 months off the track just to probably find himself again. And if he's in good heart from gate 1 with a 4 kg off the back, I think he's a horse that can make his presence felt in this contest. He's a horse that's trading at around 10 to 1 in the market. So 1, 7 and 9 are going to be the 3 roughies for me. But if you are looking for a horse to maybe rove around in those quartets as one of the fancy horses, number 4 French Trip could be the horse to play around. So 1, 4, 7 and 9, I'm going to go wide in the place accumulator and power pot. I'm looking for results in this race.
Okay, there we go. I was about to say Raheel and I are about as much good as an ashtray on a motorbike in this race, because that's how difficult it is. And as he said, fill up, load up as much as your budget will allow, because it's that kind of race. It's a class 4 where the average rating is 77. I've given you numbers 4, 3, 8, 9, 10, 7. He's given you numbers 7, 9, 1, 4. It's difficult. The bottom line is load up, because there could be a jolt here. Welcome back to the studio for the discussion on race 6, which is the Gallop TV Class 3 over 1,950 meters, where the average rating is at 88 and the race runs at 25 past 3. All 7 runners will face the starter at time of recording, and quite a difficult race, Raheel. And I say difficult, I mean there's a few in with chances. View of the World, is taking time to win again, but is ultra consistent. Plum Pudding, the filly, taking on the boys, having a word with Byron. He said it was just difficult to find the right race and races for her, but she's in a good space, she's doing well, and they're expecting a bold performance, and why not? She's won her last 2. The Mikado's capable. Royal Invitation is probably going to be my narrow first choice, the mare. Not a confident one, but she ran 4th close up to She's a Bomber. She's a Bomber, is a fair horse. Close up to Ice Rain. I know it's been 841 days since she's last won, but let me change that. I said my first choice. She should be my each way selection. Twatwa Cat ran a cracker last time. Avernie King, Marco van Rensburg rides. When you actually look at Avernie King, that run behind regulation was good. Okay, that was in the vase behind King Perez, but way outclassed and way too far, in my opinion. Back down in distance and considerably back down in class. He could certainly pop up, Avernie King, but it's difficult. What do you like? So I'm probably going to go 4-7-5, but with not too much confidence.
Yeah, I'm going to go with number 5, Warren Twatwa Cut. Last time out, I liked his run behind Lock and Key. He was doing his best work at the finish that day. Just touched off. ignore his penultimate run. His overall form is quite good. Shaunville gets a good tune out of the son of Rafif. I think he's in the right race. I think he's taken on a bit stronger when he's been beaten second best. So I think he could be well placed here to strike at 3-1 in the market. He's a 5-time winner. He's a winner over track and trip. So I think he'll be competitive. Number 4, Royal Invitation. She was carded to run a few weeks back, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought she would actually be a massive runner. But in fact, I think it was the same race as Twatwa Cut that she was supposed to run in when she was scratched. And Lock and Key was the winner that day. And I was a bit disappointed with that form line on Sunday at Hollywoodbets Greyville with My Soulmate and Knockout, who both ran from that form line. My Soulmate finished second to She's a Bomber, and she didn't do anything. In fact, we saw She's a Bomber, My Soulmate and Knockout, the top 3, pass the line from the Oaks run on Sunday in the gold bracelet, and they didn't really do anything to spark up that form line. So I was a bit disappointed with that. But I think on an overall form, she's a filly that, she's a mare at least, that will keep you interested. I think it is the right type of race for her, and I wouldn't be surprised if she were to get ahead in front. And then you've got this horse from the Paul Lafferty yard, View of the World, who you briefly touched on as you think he can have a winning chance in this race here. I just look at his form and I think to myself, one of these days he's going to get it right, because I know he won last year in September, but he hasn't been too far off the action.
Yeah, he hasn't been too far off the action, and he's got a chance. If he were to win, would I be shocked? Of course not. Is he my first choice? No. I give him more of a place chance than a winning one, but he's got a lot going for him. He comes from a competitive yard. He's drawn at gate 1. He gets Gavin Arena. And that time when he did win 325 days ago, he beat French Trip. And his overall consistent form, I wouldn't be shocked if he won Raheel, but for me, more of a place chance than a winning one.
Yeah, I think he'll keep one interested just based on his consistency. And then the filly in the race was actually the favourite here, Plum Pudding. Yeah, I think she's maybe a bit too short in the market at 5-2. I think she takes on the boys for the first time in her career, but just lack of races, as you heard there from Warren with number 2, Plum Pudding. So let's see how she goes. She's certainly looking for the distance. She'll get the distance quite comfortably. She's a filly that is in terrific form, looking to reel off the hat-trick. But let's see how she goes at 5-2. 4, 5, 4, 5, 7 in numerical order for Warren, and then I think 1, 2, 4, 5, 7. I think those 5 horses probably in the pick 6. I think 3 and 6 will battle to win in this contest. But for a top choice, I'm going to be with number 5, Twatwa Katia, Warren.
The trainer of 6, Mike's Mazarin, is of the opinion that he will certainly need another run to tighten up. He's having a second run back from the province of Cape Town and the province of the Western Cape. And he believes that Mike's Mazarin will need one more to tighten up. So there we go. 1, 2, 4, 5, 7 for Raheel. 4, 7, 5 boxed for me. The 2 horses that we believe will find it difficult to win are the 3, the Mikado, and the 6, Mike's Mazarin. But this is racing. Anything can happen.
Race number 7 next up, penultimate race on the program. 4 o'clock is the off time. It is a B stakes over 1400 meters, and your favorite here is number 1, Rosh Kadesh, trading at 5-2. Number 2, Queuing on offer at 4-1. Dauntal Dusk at 4-1. Kitchical 5-1. It's 8-1 and better ball. Those number 3, Dauntal Dusk. He's going to be my narrow top choice, followed by number 1, Rosh Kadesh. I think that these 2 horses could fight it out here in race number 7. Dauntal Dusk, last time out on Hollywoodbets Durbanville July Day, he jumped from gate number 10. He was slow into his race, and he was just always on the back foot. But the manner in which he closed off, I thought was quite encouraging. He now jumps from gate number 3. He's third up after rest. He's second up here in KZN. The drop in trip is no concern for me. I think he'll get the distance quite easily. And when you have a look at his penultimate run, when second to Air Raid, I thought that was a cracking effort when I thought he was an unlucky loser that day. I thought he was a winner past the line, but the judges found a margin for victory in favour of Air Raid. But nonetheless, this horse is on a mark of 93 from gate number 3. I think he is the right horse in the race. I think he's going to run an absolute cracker, and I think he's going to love Hollywoodbets Scottsville. So number 3, Dauntal Dusk, and then number 1, Rosh Kadesh. Well, he was a winner over course and distance 2 starts back, a dominant winner beating Serpentine Fire. Last time out, it was a great run behind the inform. This is what it means. When second, he came from a hopeless position that day, and he finished second. He did receive a 1-point penalty for that, but he jumped from gate number 1, so it's an absolute draw strike with the son of Vercingetorix. Craig Zaki back in the irons, massive player. He's probably the roving banker in the race, number 1, Rosh Kadesh, and I think he'll give you a solid run for your money. But for me, 1 and 3, Warren, 3 from 1.
Just want your opinion on 2 other horses, because I'm not arguing with you for this race, and I like Rosh Kadesh, and I fancy Dawn Till Dusk, but I preferred Rosh Kadesh over Dawn Till Dusk, but we all know that I'm an exacta player, so those will certainly be boxed and included. But your opinion on 2 horses, the first one is Kitchikal, because Kitchikal was just in front of Dawn Till Dusk last time out, and his overall form is fair.
Yeah, I know he did win over 1,400 meters 2 starts back, but I still prefer him, and I still believe he's a better horse over the mile trip. Callan Murray is back in the irons. He's the type of horse that I wouldn't be surprised if he were to make his presence felt in this contest. I give him more for place chance. He ran behind Isolucci 3 starts back. We saw Isolucci win on Sunday, so he brings the right credentials into this contest, and he'll certainly keep players interested at 5-1 in the market.
Then the other horse, before we wrap up, is Plaza Accord. Now, why I'm asking you about Plaza Accord, because he won beating Golden Destiny, and then he was seen on the poly track, which is not his best surface, and he ran 6. I thought, okay, well, the next time he goes on the turf, he'll win. Well, okay, let's not be too hard. He nearly won. He ran second to Stars in Heaven. Then he went back onto the poly track and clearly made it clear that he doesn't like the poly track. Now he's back on the turf. How do you think he'll go here?
Yeah, I think ignore his poly runs. When you look at his overall form, 2 wins and then a second at his last 3 turf runs, he's a horse that I think will have credentials. I give him more for place chance here. I think 1 and 3 could just have his measure in this contest, but he's a horse that I wouldn't be surprised to see in the shake-up. He's at 12-1 in the market. Could be nice value for trifectas and quartets, and he's only at 12-1 because of his last start.
Okay, so Rahil Radhikrishna, 3 Dawn Till Dusk from 1 Rosh Kadesh. I'm 1 Rosh Kadesh from 3 Dawn Till Dusk. Those are the 2 dominant selections, so possibly double float roving bankers. And then for me, horses like Kitchikal, Plaza Accord for the minor money. But that is race 7. There's 1 more to come. Race 8 on the card is the Hollywoodbets Bright Future Class 4. It's a fillies and mares event over 1,500 meters. And as the great Garth Puller once told me, F&M for fillies and mares, it should stand for field and more. And when you think of that, it's an average rating of 76. Some of these fillies and mares races are so difficult. It really is fillies, field and more, isn't it?
Yeah, it certainly is, but I think we could maybe narrow our selections down in the 8th race on the day of this 1,500 meter trip. I see Sign of Faith is the top one at 3-1 in the market for Tristan Godden and Robbie Hill. Forward Motion at 11-2, 6-1 among the clouds. Beautiful Rania, Raga Lover 6-1, 7-1, and Better About the Balance. Yeah, just having a look at this race, I'm going to touch on 3 horses that I'm going to be playing around. I'm going to go in order of preference here. Number 8, Forward Motion. She's going to be my top choice. I've looked at this race, Warren, and I've tried to see where could the pace come from. And I know number 2, Among the Clouds, can go forward. Beautiful Rania, another horse. Kawakazi can press forward. But I don't think they'll be able to challenge number 8, Forward Motion, for that lead. If Damien Pillay can get this filly into a nice rhythm early on, she isn't softened up in the lead, I think that she could go all the way, as she did last time out over 1,600 meters when beating Ice Rain. The only difference last time out and why she beat Ice Rain was that she was in receipt of 10 kgs that day, and she won by 1.5 lengths. If the weight was reduced, I think you see a different result, but the fact is she got over the line. She received a 5-point penalty for that success. Her confidence is restored, and I think in this type of contest, down in class, I might add, that was the average rating 91. The average rating here is 76. So it is a significant step down in class. She's a horse that I think is going to win a few more races. I think she'll run well. Then number 9, Izzy Bulo. Last time out, I was so encouraged by the way this filly finished off a race on the poly track. She was returning off a layoff over 1,200 meters, a distance sharp off her best, and that run would have brought her on a lot when finishing 5th behind Papillon Blue, just beaten 2.5 lengths. Gone down a further 2 points in the ratings, now racing out on a mark of 72. What we must also remember that day, the reason there was probably support around her, yes, maybe improvement was expected, but Hollywood Racing and Shaunville were having an absolute blinder. I think they won the 3 races preceding into that, and they were looking to make it 4 in a row and wrap up what was a brilliant day. Sean was looking for a 5-timer, I think it was as well. So this horse, Izibula, on a mark of 72, I think she's going to be competitive back at Hollywoodbets Scottsville, a track that suits her over a suitable distance. I think she'll run a nice race. And then number 4, Sign of Fate, who was just touched off last time out, beaten half length by a plum pudding. That form line has worked out. She's on a mark of 81. She's nicely drawn in gate number 4, and she'll certainly have a supporter. So 4, 8, 9 in numerical order, but in order of preference 8, 9 and 4 for me in race number 8.
8, 9, 4. So that's 8 Forward Motion, 9 Izibula, 4 Sign of Fate. You certainly have made a good case for Forward Motion, and quite rightly so. Huge drop down in class. Damien Pillay, 59.5 kilograms, I think it is, with a 4 off. Certainly could go gun to tape. You're quite right, Forward Motion. And then again, when chatting to Garth Puller for the interviews during the lead up to this race meeting, he was quite upbeat about Izibula having a chance. Just one other horse, because you're right, we have to structure it. In a couple of the races we've gone wide, and some may say, well, we're selecting a lot of horses in some of the races, but it's all about structure. You take a lesser percentage and hopefully the dividends are high, but be that as it may. Sign of Fate I do like. Forward Motion, Izibula, as you've alluded to. There's one horse that you haven't touched on that I would like your opinion on, because I'm going to include her. Is Rugger Lover. I know she won on the poly track last time. She came from she came from last. She came from an impossible position, and the way she won, beating She's a Machine, was impressive. Her overall form is good. I know she sort of wins and then makes you wait for the next one. How do you see her? Where's she in your picking order? I'm not saying she's a certainty. I'm not saying she's a banker. I'm just saying surely we can put her into quartets and trifectas.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see in the shake-up, or in that run went second to Ronnie Tarabai. I think this is a slightly stronger race than when she did finish second, but it was a good win last time out. I think place chance for this filly. Okay, so there we go. So I'm happy with those numbers. I'm happy with 8, 9, 4. And then I'm just going to add the 6 and Rugger Lover as well. There are a few others that you can make a case for, but we've gone heavy in a couple of the races, so we want to go light in the tail end of the meeting. 4 Sign of Fate, 6 Rugger Lover, 8 Forward Motion, 9 Izibula, the principal contenders. I haven't really got a firm first choice, so I'm going to be with my colleague, and we're going to row in with the horse that he's made a strong case for, Forward Motion.